This January, many video game fans, myself included, are in for a real treat as HBO's live-action adaptation of The Last of Us, the critically acclaimed video game series from Naughty Dog, is set to make its debut on HBO Max. Yesterday, the series' full trailer dropped at this year's CCXP Expo in Brazil, and it gave us just a little tease at what we can expect later next month. Now, I've said this over and over again on the channel, The Last of Us is absolutely one of my favorite video games of all time, and it's definitely one of my most anticipated projects of 2023. And as a massive fan of the game, I can't help but think that this is going to be really incredible because all of the pieces are there to make this something really, really extraordinary. First of all, you've got Pedro Pascal as Joel. You've got Bella Ramsey as Ellie, and I mean, let's be completely honest with each other. Do I even need to say anymore? That should sell you enough. So many of the original creators and the people that made The Last of Us happen the first time are back to work on the TV show and back to bring this brand new adaptation to life in a new way. Neil Druckmann, the series creator, is back at the helm alongside Craig Mazin, who is the creator of the Chernobyl miniseries. Gustavo Santaolalla is back to score the series. There are many pieces in play here that I think are setting The Last of Us up to be one of the most memorable video game adaptations of all time. I honestly think that this series is going to accomplish what Resident Evil has always failed to do. Craft an honest, true adaptation of the story that people have come to love so much without missing things, without making strange decisions, and kind of drifting away from what made the series so successful in the first place. Something that looks and feels like The Last of Us. And listen, this is coming from a massive Resident Evil fan. I am a huge fan of the Resident Evil games. It is that they will forever be a very, very important piece of me and my childhood. But I think that there is something really, really, really special on the horizon with HBO's The Last of Us. And as somebody who has always really, really appreciated the zombie subgenre and how vast and interesting and weird it can get, I'm really, really excited to see this story come to life in a new way. If you're new here, I'm Brad. Welcome to Let's Talk Movies. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave this video a like and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on the first official trailer for The Last of Us. Let's watch this thing together. Here we go. All right, here we go. The official trailer for HBO's The Last of Us in 3, 2, 1.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on?
Wow.
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know. Keep going for family.
Dude.
I'm not family.
No. Your cargo.
Their chemistry is going to be so good. I'm calling it now. It's going to be amazing.
Somewhere out west, they're working on a cure. I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
The infected look unbelievable, man.
Just twitches.
That's so Ellie, dude. That's such an Ellie thing to do. Okay. Ooh.
Take me with me. Do what I say when I say it. Got any advice on the best way west?
It looks beautiful,
Yeah.
like the
Go
locations.
east.
It looks
Come this
stunning.
far, and you know what's out there.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You're not gonna scare
The
us.
environment's
Scared you?
unreal, man.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
Be careful who you put your faith in.
You might not be
her
Wow,
father.
man. Wow.
She was someone's.
You trust me?
Ooh. Oh, the music, dude. Oh my god. Oh! Dude. Holy crap, man. Wow. Man, I gotta tell you, this looks remarkable. I mean, everything from the environments to the cast to the design of the creatures. I love that we didn't get a really, really close-up look. We got to see the bloater there at the end, but we didn't linger on any of the infected or the zombies, whatever you would like to call them. It looks very action-packed. It looks like it's very, very true to the feel and the vibe and the story of the game. And I love the fact that this is going to be a series, so we can really take our time with the story, and we can take our time to develop the characters and to develop this world and kind of engulf you in what's happening, which was one of the things that the original game did so well. It truly made you feel like you were in that world. You felt the environment. You felt the decay and of the collapse of society and of the environment and the world around them as they navigated their way through this post-apocalyptic world. Again, as a really big zombie fan, I think the environment and the world around, what's happening around the characters, is just as important as what's happening in your core storyline. Because anytime you have this post-apocalyptic story, you're telling a story with the space around you as well. The way that things are. You're telling a story with the environment just as much as you're telling a story with the characters and the dialogue and the things that are happening as our characters navigate things. They're having to navigate what happened when society fell apart. They're having to navigate, this world that Ellie is new to. She's never really gotten to see what the world was like before. So this is kind of magical in her eyes, but it's also terrifying because you're trying to fight for your life around every corner. It's such a great balance of survival horror and action adventure and a really, really heartwarming, emotional story at the heart of everything. Okay, so let's break this thing down a little bit more together before we get out of here. So the opening, awesome shot of Joel. Looks like he's really, really deep in thought. I'm very interested to see what Pedro Pascal is going to bring to this role. I think he's a really, really nice choice given what we've seen. Very versatile actor. If you think Wonder Woman 84, of course, The Mandalorian, like two very different roles there. I'm excited to see this kind of paternal aspect of him and what he brings to not only, the storyline of getting closer to Ellie and becoming more of a father figure to her, but of also his daughter and seeing that loss and seeing what that does to him and kind of that dog-eat-dog, like cold personality that he gets when him and Tess are kind of living in Boston and they're in the quarantine zone. I think Pedro Pascal was an absolutely fantastic choice for Joel.
There's hope for the world.
Dude, this shot right here is just Tess and Joel and Ellie walking down the street. Again, something I mentioned a few minutes ago is that it's really, really important anytime you have a post-apocalyptic story, particularly a zombie story. And I know some people might come at me and say, this is not really a zombie video game, a zombie show. I'm very lenient. I know some people are not with what I consider to be a part of the zombie genre, even though these are technically not the Romero classic zombies, what you would find in Resident Evil or The Walking Dead. I still would consider these a type of zombies. People say the same thing about 28 Days Later, that they're really infected. It's just a virus. It's not necessarily a zombie virus, but you can take it or leave. But the point of what I was saying with the environment, excuse me, is that it's really, really important to tell a story with the world around you. I mean, you have to think every object is there because society was collapsing. People were freaking out. People were losing their minds. People were running and scared. And, even there's a scene in just a few minutes that we're going to get to where Joel is walking up the stairs with a gun and he's kind of, he's got like the flashlight out. Even all of the burned dead bodies laying there. and the way, just the way that the world works, and the way that you're using the environment to tell a story, because they're experiencing this for the first time too. It looks like they've done a really, really great job crafting the environment and this post-apocalyptic world around these three characters, and just making it look like it's been sitting for almost 20 years. You know, I mean, what would happen to our concrete jungle of a planet if suddenly there were no more humans on it? There was no infrastructure anymore. I've always really, really loved that aspect of post-apocalyptic films, and I think it's very, very, very interesting to kind of dive into that and showcase that in different ways.
What bother going on?
An amazing shot right here. It looks like it is ripped straight out of the game. Joel trying to hide behind the clicker. You hear that awesome, it's creepy. It gives me the friggin' creeps every time I hear it. Hearing the clicker and kind of seeing his shadow go behind Joel. Again, I love that we didn't really see very clearly any of the infected. You know, we got little glimpses of the clickers, we got little glimpses of the runners. We did get to see the bloater there at the end coming out of the fire, which was just, oh my god. But you know, it looks really, really good, and I like that they're kind of saving that. You gotta save a little something. They gotta surprise you with something, and I really, really like that we're kind of keeping that under wraps for right now.
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know.
Man, even the movements and everything, just in that little glimpse. Of course, that was Joel and his daughter, presumably escaping towards what would have been the very beginning of the game, when they're escaping with Tommy in their neighborhood.
Cargo.
I had mentioned this before. I'm really, really excited to see Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal kind of play off of one another, just because those characters are written so well, and Joel and Ellie have such an interesting arc throughout that first game. You know, again, Joel becoming more of a parental figure in Ellie's life, you know, and that was something that she didn't have, you know. She was looked at as cargo, and I'm really, really interested. I have the hiccups, I don't know why. Excuse me. I'm really interested to see what the two of them do together, and kind of do with those two characters, and just seeing them kind of bounce and play off of each other. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. Even that, I mean, look at all of the sunken ships, the bridge, the moss that's kind of hanging down. It looks so, so well done. I mean, it's very, very detailed. The environments look absolutely incredible, which, again, to a game like this, where you're traveling across so many different cities and so many different environments and so many different, you know, types of terrain and things like that, different seasons, that was something that I was kind of intrigued to see how they were going to pull that off. Different seasons, kind of seeing the infected in different seasons, seeing infrastructure kind of collapsing and things like that. It looks really, really neat. That's another really, really cool shot right there, too. Cool shot of Bella Ramsey.
Somewhere out west.
Beautiful scenery, man. I believe they filmed this in Alberta, Canada. And, man, the location scouting and everything, it looks like it was on point. This shot right here, man. Really, really, really cool shot of one of the zombies. The kind of like twitchy, the really rough, twitchy movement, the sound of the clicker. So well done, man. I love that we're keeping them in shadow and they're not full on showcasing the zombies just, you know, right off the bat. I think that's so cool.
I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
So you have Ellie's bite mark on her, which it doesn't necessarily look like a bite mark. I don't know, it looks interesting.
If she so much as twitches.
That's such an Ellie thing. And of course you have Tess and Joel, who are just like, you know what I mean? They're like, get the job done, straight to the point, no BS, no funny business. And you have Ellie, who's twitching, and you know, that's such a cool Ellie moment. I love it. Listen, you got to get that classic, got to get that 80s going on, man. Another really, really cool looking set, man. The moss growing all over all of the buildings that are kind of like destroyed, I don't know, presumably from, you know, bombs dropping or things like that, and just kind of decay over time, collapsing without being taken care of. You know, being able to walk across the buildings like that, it's really, really cool. And it's just, I always think, I don't know what that says about me, but I think, like, seeing this post-apocalyptic world is very interesting. Like, I don't know, I just think it's cool. I think there's a lot of story to tell, even just with the environments and what you see around the characters and how they're experiencing things and how they're experiencing the decay and the collapse of what used to be. I think that's so cool, and that's such a cool thing to kind of tap into and check out.
Do what I say when I say it.
Of course, you have Joel and Ellie trying to hide behind the military. They're hiding behind a car. Even the cars look super grungy and dirty and gross, and it looks good, man. Of course, you have the We the People thing.
Got any advice?
I'll have to maybe go back and really slow things down. I didn't see any Firefly symbols in the teaser. Or not in the trailer. Maybe we saw one in the teaser. We might have seen a Firefly symbol in the teaser, but I don't know if we got one in the trailer yet. Again, another beautiful location. Beautiful wintertime location. Seeing the bridge.
Yeah, go east.
I love that. Seeing the Fedra. The biological contamination area and Joel going through. This looks like a really cool night shot of like the rain and the fog.
You've come this far, and you know what's out there.
This is the shot I was talking about. That is such a cool shot. I mean, it's this kind of thing that makes you think, okay, like, what the hell happened here? Like, how did that ever even get to look like that? You know, it's very, very interesting. And even they also have the whole the fungal thing where kind of they're attached to the wall and you have the fungus growing up and down the walls and things like that and around the corners, kind of contaminating some of the buildings. If you remember in the game when Joel has to put on the gas mask to enter somewhere because he can't breathe in the particles and the fungus. It's really, really cool. That's a pretty cool one as well. Really cool shot.
You're not gonna scare us.
Scared him?
Of course, Ellie being her cool, badass self, she's not afraid of anything. She's not going to take anything from anybody. You know, she's very, very, she's very cool girl all the time. You know. Another beautiful shot, man. Listen, apparently I need to go check out Alberta in Canada because it looks beautiful.
You have a greater purpose than any of
There was Marlene.
us could have ever imagined.
That's a cool shot as well. Now, I forget her name. It's completely escaping me. But really, really cool nod. Ellie's mother in the series is being played by the same actress who portrays Ellie in the video game, which I think is amazing. Her and Bella Ramsey actually have kind of a striking resemblance, so it actually worked very, very well. But I thought that was a really, really cool nod, and it's that kind of stuff that makes me so excited for this, because it's painfully obvious that they are really going to craft this thing with love and care, and this was a love letter to the video game, to the original story. This is a love letter to these characters and to the cast and crew and the people that made it magic in the first place, and I love that about this. That's how you know you're going to have something really, really special on your hands. Seeing Ellie experience the world for the first time, that's another thing that's I'm very, very excited to see, and to see Bella Ramsey kind of shine in that light. I mean, experiencing a shopping mall, something that she's never had the opportunity to really experience or look at before. And of course, this is probably when she gets bit and when she realizes that she's immune. So in a flashback, not necessarily in the present day timeline of where we end up, but so cool seeing her with her friend.
Be careful who you put your faith in.
Tons of different characters. Those are incredible characters as well. definitely taken straight out of the beginning of the game when Tommy and Joel are trying to get his daughter out of Dodge, when kind of things are collapsing and the virus is spreading and things are going down. You know, such a cool shot.
It might not be her fault.
Joel and Ellie obviously being pointed at by a military soldier. Again, I think this kind of coincides. Let me go back just a little bit. I think this coincides with the beginning of the game as well, when Joel and Tommy are trying to escape with Joel's daughter. Kind of escaping the military, escaping the scene, trying to just kind of figure out what is happening and escape the madness of planes crashing and society kind of immediately falling apart. Again, I think the zombie subgenre is so interesting because it's kind of the ultimate social experiment of, like, what do you do when the world that you have come to know entirely falls apart? It's such an interesting social experiment. And this kind of takes it a step further, is how do you adapt to the world, you know, so many years later? Like, how have people adapted? How has it changed people? How has it changed the human race having to deal with this complete tragedy? I mean, that it's so interesting. Tommy and Joel, man,
Trust me.
looks action-packed, crazy. There's a runner, I believe, chasing Joel. Really, really cool to see. Different infected kind of chasing Joel. And of course you have, let me get to it. You have Ellie and Joel. Where is it? I don't know if I can pause it in that moment. Ellie getting angry. Ellie wrapping her arms around Joel. Of course, this is probably towards the end, when the two of them are starting to really bond and come together. So cool, man. I'm so excited. I'm beyond excited. I mean, whew, you got the bloater. That looks sick, dude. It looks so cool. I wasn't sure if they were going to include bloaters or not. I mean, I wanted them to, but it's so kind of weird and strange to see, like, this big bulky creature, you know, walking around, but it looks great. It looks scary. I mean, seeing the mouth kind of open with the, you know, the infection kind of growing out, so good, man. Absolutely remarkable. Really, really well put together trailer. Gave you just enough to want more, but at the same time didn't give you too much. It still kind of left you wondering things, and this trailer left you wanting more. At least it left me wanting more. So, guys, once again, I think this is going to be an absolutely remarkable series, and I cannot wait to see it on January 15th. I think it's going to really, really blow people away. If you would, please let me know your thoughts on the Last of Us trailer in the comments below. We always want to hear what you're thinking. New episodes of Let's Talk Movies and Purely and Simply Evil premiere every single week at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at LTM Podcast KY. We will talk to you guys soon. Have an amazing rest of your weekend, and we'll see you later. Peace.